Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today is one of those late night recordings, so I can't be my usual lively self because I don't want to wake up the whole house. And what I want us to talk about today is how to handle objections and then why it's important to know your unique value proposition or your use case scenarios when you are in sales. Yes, I know I've dropped a lot of technical terms on you guys, especially people who are discovering the podcast for the first time. So let's break it down. First, I said handling objections. Now, objections are things that people routinely say when they don't want to buy from you or when they don't want to continue the conversation, continue the agenda, continue the whatever. So if you tell someone, here's the proposal, I have package A, package B, package C, which one are you interested in? And they say, let me think about it, let me tell my wife, let me talk to my brother, let me pray about it, whatever they say, that is an objection because they seemingly don't want to buy or don't want to continue the conversation, continue the interaction. Um, anyway, no be by force, as in people don't have to buy by force, by force. So when we're faced with an objection, what we're supposed to do is to try and figure out whether people are trying to brush us off. And honestly, if they're trying to brush us off, then we suppose step like there's no need. There's a brush off. Just fashy. Like you can move forward. But then other times, the reason why people come up with objections is because they have substantial concerns or significant questions that are yet to be dealt with. And the reason why we should handle objections is to try and figure out exactly what it is that is at the back of their mind. So if somebody says, let me pray about it, let me talk to my wife, let me talk to my husband, let me talk to my pastor, send it to my secretary, blah, 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 and you ask them a couple of questions, and then you see that they don't understand some key terms, okay, good. When you explain the key terms, then the conversation is back on track. Or if it's that they understand what the thing is, but they don't think that you have the skill to be able to carry it out, okay, then maybe you have some more conversations that need to be had. But yeah, an objection is whenever someone gives an excuse for why they don't want to go ahead with the conversation. Now, what we're supposed to do in that situation is we're supposed to try and figure out exactly what it is that is going on. And so we're going to explore some of that today. Now, the reason why we're going to explore this today is because I was sitting in on an interview session for one of my clients. Now, I don't offer this as a service, but I do it for my friends. And so, excuse me. So, for those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that my friend is anybody who has given me money before. So, if you've been my client in the past, you paid me money, and you call me up and say, "Oh boy, Alpha, I did do interview. I beg, cause you don't give me your own take on one or two candidates." Sure, no problem. I'll do that because what are friends for? You give me money in the past. So, what's the big deal? I'll show. So that's how I show for this my guy now, and he and his human resource officer, human resource officer, were interviewing salespeople, and the person in HR wanted the salesperson to do a role play, and I think the person fumbled the role play. She know to handle them well, and that's the reason why I say, come, let me hop on this recording. Before I forget and just make this episode, because if I sleep and then wake up, that's why this is a late night recording. If I sleep and then I wake up, I would have forgotten this episode. So number one, this person didn't handle the objection well. So those of you who are professional salespeople listening to the podcast, and those of you who are business owners, you will learn by some of the things that we're going to tackle now about how this young sales lady didn't handle this objection well. Now, part of the reasons why she fumbled this objection was because the lady doesn't know her unique value proposition or she doesn't know her use case scenarios. Okay, big grammar. Now, unique value proposition just means, why do people do business with me? That's the simple thing. The answer to the question, why people do business with me, that is your unique value proposition. When you know what that is, you can key in, you can lean on it. You can stress it in conversations, in marketing materials, things like that. So you need to know. By the way, the answer to the question, why do people do business with me, It's never what you think. It's hardly what you think. So you're better off having honest conversations with your customers and asking them that question: why did you do business with me? Sometimes they'll give you an answer that no makes sense, like you don't know what to do with it. For those of you who've been listening to the podcast, you know that the first time I asked somebody that question, why'd you do business with me? Especially when I was a photographer. Oh, by the way, my name is Tavershima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast. I'm a former lawyer turned business consultant. I dabbled in wedding photography for a bit. So, as a wedding photographer, my best client at the time, when I asked her why she did business with me, she said, honestly, I don't know, but I like you. So in that sense, like, what will I do with that kind of information now? I'm the most likeliest photographer. Like, I have no idea. But anyway, after talking to more and more people, I found out that the reason why people did business with me was they liked the fact that I was professional and I was on time. And one bride said, you are the only wedding vendor I never had to worry about. Now, in that case, you see how I can take that UVP and start leaning on it in other sales conversations. Like, look, I'm professional. I'm always on time. I don't disappoint. In fact, so who was my bride from 2026, 2020, whatever, said I was the only wedding vendor she never had to worry about. You can see that it lends credence to the situation. So you should always try and discover what your unique value proposition is. You should always be talking to your customers, talking to your clients to try and figure out why they did business with you. Now, use case scenarios. Use case scenarios just means what are the different situations under which people are using my product or using my service. Some of you are wondering, what's all this grammar? Don't worry, I'm getting somewhere. You see, as everything will correlate, everything will blend now. Oh, by the way, if you want to connect with me, my number is 080-6466-2140. You can call, send me a text message, send me a WhatsApp message. If in your business you're not sure what your use case scenarios are, what your unique value proposition is, or if you're having problems dealing with objections, call me, send me a text message, send me a WhatsApp message. The number is 080-6466-2140. I'm okay with answering questions for free, so if you want free advice, just make sure you let me know in the very first message, and I'll answer one question and one question only. If you want us to go deeper, you want us to have a deep dive, we'll need to sit down and have a proper consultation. Don't worry, we have packages ranging all the way from high-class people to middle-class people to I know get money. Either way, you'll be covered. So, we have gone through what objections mean, we have gone through what use case scenarios mean, and we have gone through, what's the last one? Unique value proposition. Okay. Sorry if I'm not coherent. It's a late night and, I'm freestyling here. So I'm just holding all the ideas in my head. I didn't quite sketch this out. So, like I said, the reason why I'm talking about all of this tonight is because I sat in on an interview session where one salesperson fumbled the opportunity. So, my client, the one that I call my friend, because the guy don't give me money before, that's the reason why I can do him a favor and sitting on an interview session. So, they're interviewing someone who's supposed to take the role of a sales rep to sell solar. And so the human resource person is like, oh yeah, no problem now. Maybe you want to sell solar. Oh yeah, I'm a client. Sell to me. So first of all, that's how the babe called a shake. She said, that she's tense. By the way, it's normal and it's okay to say that you're tense during an interview, especially if you have somebody who is in human resources, because human resource people, they're your allies. All right. If it is just the Oga that is there, the Oga will say, come on, what do you mean by your tense? Blah, 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 blah. He will shout at you and then you get even more tense. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that's what happens in Nigeria. But if there's a member of human resources there, you can say that kind of thing. And the member of human resources, down your side, they'll calm you down, they'll soothe you. So that's what the lady said. The lady said, okay, no problem. In that case, let it not be solar. Use your own example. When she said it in my mind, I was like, correct. Because this lady who was talking to us, she was coming from the telesales background. Her job used to be, she used to work with a, what will I call them now? A financial company, a company that sells loans, sells credit facilities. So I was thinking this babe will use loans because, that's where she was coming from, which is what she did. A very smart move. So by the way, when you're sitting in on an interview and they want you to role play, they give you an example, you fumble, and they say, oh yeah, use anything you want. Please, go and use the one that you are familiar with. But this is where the problem happened now. So the babe started off now, the role play, trying to sell to the human resource professional. And then she told her that, oh, if I want to sell loan to you. And then the human resource professional during the interview said, I don't need a loan. I'm a rich client. And then that's how the girl fumbled. And then she started trying to sell something else. They started talking about generator. And then at that point, I shook my head. I said, oh, more. See, decent opportunity. You just missed it. You just missed it. Now, the reason why the lady fumbled it was because, number one, she doesn't know how to handle objections. Number two, she doesn't know what her unique value proposition is. Number three, she doesn't know the use case scenarios. Remember, the use case scenarios are different ways that customers, potential clients, whatever, the different ways that people interact with your product or your service. You should know. If you don't know these things, you can't be nimble. You can't be moving quick when you're having conversations with potential customers. So let's rewind a little bit and let's see what it is that she got wrong. First of all, in dealing with objections, for those of you who listen to the podcast steady, you already know. But those of you who are brand new, let me break it down for you a little bit. First thing you do when somebody gives an objection is you agree. You don't agree and say you are right. What you do is you're just trying to empathize with the person to let them know that you hear them and what they're saying makes sense, because it allows people to calm down. And when people calm down, when they pipe down, you now move to step two, which is you now ask some questions. Because remember, when people give you objections, number one, it can be a brush off. And if person they brush you off, then go. Brush off means, get the hell out of here, like leave me alone. So if then they brush you off, then just go. There's other fish in the sea. You find market another day. If not brush off, go. But then there might be legitimate concerns. There might be legitimate concerns or questions. You try and figure out what it is that is going on. So when you agree with the person and then they pipe down low, then you ask them question. It's from asking them question that you now get to the root of what is going on. Is it that you say something that they didn't understand? Is it that they have a question that you didn't answer? Or maybe they don't trust you. Whatever it is, we need to get to the root of what is going on, because it's only when we know what's going on that we can address this concern. That is how we deal with objections. Now, based on the question that you ask and based on the information that you elicit, you'll be able to move to the next step, which is when you make a new proposal. Now that you've understood what's going on, you can now say, oh, madam, now this thing, you explain it, and then you give a proposal, which is you trying to sell again. And then, after you give that new proposal, you now try and close on this deal. So, in summary, that is how you handle objections. First of all, agree so that they will calm down. The goal of them calming down is so that you can ask them questions. When you ask questions, you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Is it a brush off? If it is a brush off, you tell them, thank you very much, ma. Enjoy your day. Can I leave a couple of flyers? If not brush off, go. Like my father used to say, you don't wait until they pour hot water on you. So if they're brushing you off, then go. If there's a legitimate concern, if there's unaddressed questions, if there's anything else that is on their mind, go ahead. See how you tackle it. Then, with the new information, you give a new proposal. Then you try and close again. Now, so we do them. So, how does this now tie in with knowing your unique value proposition and the use case scenarios? Okay, no problem. Let me step back a bit, and then we'll see as everything's supposed to blend. So, this lady starts off the role play, trying to sell to the human resource person. And the human resource person says, I'm a rich client. I do not need your loan. That's where the girl fumbled. She now started trying to sell generator. The reason why the girl fumbled is because she assumes that people who buy loans, people who collect loans, people who collect credit facilities, she assumes that it's only people who don't get money who need loans. Now, in a sense, yes, in Nigeria, all the people where they carry loan, you understand, like they're falling on hard times. You understand? But it's not everybody where they pursue loan that is broke. Dangote has taken loans from banks. Abi. And in Nigeria, who rich past Dangote? Who? Meanwhile, the guy they carry loan. Elumelu, the guy they carry loan. Everybody they carry loan, whether you are rich or you're poor. This sales professional did not know her use case scenarios. As far as she was concerned, maybe in the past, she has been selling loans and credit facilities to people way poor, people way broke, people way don't care. It doesn't mean that it's only broke, dry, care people that need loans. Rich people need loan too. So you see, you need to know your use case scenarios. How do people use loans and how do people use credit facilities? You need to know that if you're in the business of selling loans and selling credit facilities. That will give you flexibility. It will make you nimble. You'll be thinking on your feet when you're talking to people. Somebody won't be able to tell you, I'm a rich client. I have money. And then you will now fumble, you will now collapse. You need to know your use case scenarios. Now, if this babe in the past, after she closes every single deal, goes and asks people, oh, thank you very much, man, for accepting the loan, blah, blah, blah. I hope everything is working, going okay. Business is moving on smooth now. You now ask the person, oh, please, man, I beg, no vex. I appreciate you as a client. Just to help me move my ministry forward. I just want to know, like, why do you decide to do business with me? You will get to hear some interesting things. You get to hear that, okay, maybe even though somebody took the loan because initially they were dry, like nothing, like, dry bones, like in the Bible. You might find out that the person actually used the credit facility to resuscitate their business or to patch cash flow concerns. This is something that you can pack in your head that will become useful later on. Now, let's go back. You're trying to sell the loan. Madam says, I don't need your money. I'm a rich client. I don't need your loan. First of all, you agree. You say, madam, when I grow up, I want to be exactly like you, madam. I want to be a rich baller like you, ma. Please, ma, when you enter into your kingdom, remember me in your glory. Okay? So that's a different way of agreeing. That's the kind of thing that can cause somebody to laugh. I say, my dear, that kind of thing. You find ways of agreeing. There's a client that I was doing some work with. You guys should remember now, if you've been listening for the last 2 months, the one that is into audiobook productions. I told him about how some people say in this Tinubu economy, and the guy, he started using it, and the thing works for him. They say, how much? They say, between this and between this. And the person will say, you say how much? How many $1,000s? And then the guy will just laugh it off and say, yeah, I understand that in this Tinubu economy, I understand why $3,000 should be such a big deal. Some people continue the conversation like, honestly, you have no idea. In this economy, do you know how much school fees is, blah, blah, blah. By the time you talk like this back and forth, like, what's happening? You and the person, you people are getting on a level. The guy's relaxing his guard. He's calming down. He has started talking about school fees. From there, you can be sliding into one or two things. Eventually, you'll be able to say, oh, by the way, I hope you don't mind me asking. Can I ask you a couple of questions? And, from there, you ask questions. But you find ways of agreeing. So, me with my own style, when somebody tells me I'm a rich client, because that's happened to me before, that's my own attitude of answering that. Like, amen. Oh, when I grow up, that's what I want to be. I want to be large like you, bros. I want to be a bigger boy. Because I was trying to sell on behalf of my client one time, and the guy was talking about how the money was nothing. Like, this is nothing at all. Because, like, when times were good, the guy said that this 600K that we're talking about, that's what he used to use and buy Hennessy for him and his boys. I didn't fumble. I didn't crumble. I just told the guy, I say, bros, that's what I'm trying to be like. That I feel you. That's where me too I'm heading to. And then the guy laughed. Before you know, we were talking about school fees because I'm a dad. He too is also a dad. And then later on, I was able to refocus. Anyway, back to this madam thing. Let me not take it too long. So, madam says I'm a rich client. You find ways of agreeing. So whether you say in my own case, like, oh, mommy, when I grow up, I want to be like you. If that's your way of agreeing, no problem. Or you can say, let me see. I can tell ma that I can tell, man, that you don't need this money and you're quite wealthy. That means business must be going very good. Okay, let me use that one. So you agree? And I say, that means business must be going very good. Now, most Nigerians, all they say, well, we thank God. Or they say, okay, well, it could be better. But from that, it looks as if business is going good. You can also ask asking questions about business and career, because the goal is, if you know your use case scenarios, that people don't just take loans because they are broke, but they take loans because they're trying to use leverage to grow the business, or they're trying to smooth over cash flow concerns or things like that. You can now start asking them about their business. You can now start asking them about capital expenditure. You can now start asking them about goals for business expansion and blah blah blah. It is then later on that you can be able to say, oh ma, you know, even though business is actually doing very well and this and this and that, actually most of my most satisfied customers have taken loans not because they were broke, but because they wanted to use it to finance business expansion into this, into this, into that, into that. Now you talk like that, somebody will look at you and say, oh, this girl is sharp. She know wetin she dey yarn. They know that you're a consummate professional. This is the kind of thing that some people will say, can you explain? Or can you tell me more? You understand? It's the kind of thing that you can use to secure another meeting. So you can go and sit down with the person to go and let them know how it's not only people where they broke, where they collect loan. There are even bigger boys, bigger girls, kashogis, even themselves, they collect loan because they're using loans to do different things. They're using loans as leverage. They're using loans to for business growth. Using loans because they're pursuing returns in the future. I hope you guys are seeing how everything ties together. So please, as a professional salesperson, right? No matter what it is you sell, whether you sell loans, whether you sell credit facilities, whether you sell wealth advisory, whether you sell solars, you got to know your unique value proposition. Why do people do business with me? You also need to know your use case scenarios. What are the different conditions under which people have been using my product or my service? So that when you are trying to close the sale and somebody give you small goals, you will know how to agree, ask some questions. First of all, you will agree just to bring down the temperature, let people be calm. Then you ask some questions so that you'll be able to figure out what's going on. Whether it's a brush off. If it's a brush off, then leave. If not, there might be some issues. Maybe they have some correct questions that they need answers to. Then you answer the question. You address their concern. Then you now make a fresh proposal. So in this case, like, okay, madam, now that you know that we can use my company's credit facilities, as leverage for business expansion, would you be okay with me coming over to the office next week Friday? So we can see how the different packages we offer can be used in this initiative, that initiative that you've discussed in your office. That's how it's done. So, anyway, since I used solar in this episode and credit facilities and loans, not everybody's business applies, but the principle applies no matter what business you're involved in. So if it seemed like this was very heady or whatever, no problem. Just listen to the episode again and try and apply the principles. But if the thing still confuse you, I give my number at the beginning and at the end of every podcast episode. Excuse me. You can call me, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. If you don't know how all these things we're talking about applies. Like I said, I'm okay with giving free consultations. Just tell me in the beginning of the message or of our phone call that you're looking for free business advice, and I will answer only one question. So think long and hard about your one question before you call me, because I'm only going to answer one. If you want us to go in depth, if you want us to do a deep dive, that's not a problem. We'll have to book a consulting session. If you're a Khashoggi, no problem. We got something for you. If you're a middle class person, no problem. We have something for you. If you don't get money, no problem. We have something for you. Right? So whether it's 6 digits, 5 digits, 4 digits, 3 digits, we have something for you. If you're looking for 2 digits, I'm sorry, you're talking to the wrong person. Move on to someone else, or just use ChatGPT. You'll find some good advice from there as well. So again, the number 080-6466-2140. Even if you don't have any questions, you just want to hail me. I don't mind. Like one guy made my day today. One guy and then one babe. You know, since I'm freestyling right now, I can't really remember their names. But the guy just reached out to say that he discovered my podcast. The guy is into retail. He has his own clothing line. He just wanted to say big ups that I'm doing a good job. Man, that thing sweet my head die. So you just want to say what's up. Reach out 080-6466-2140. You people who reach out, you just want to hail a boy. You just want to bless your nigga. I really appreciate it. And the same thing, one of those babes. She's a law student, year 2. Say she just discovered my podcast, this, that. She said the podcast sweet, the podcast, she says she's locked in, that she know they go anywhere. I mean, that thing sweet my brain. Die. So if you want to hail your boy, 080-6466-2140. No problem. I'd like to hear from you. But if you're in a bind, you need free business advice. It's not a problem. Just reach out. But I'll only answer one question. Alright, so that's it. And that is all for today. Remember, if it seems a little bit heady, just go back, listen to it again. You'll be fine. Also, subscribe to the podcast because I never stop talking about these sorts of things. That's what we do here every day on the podcast, Business Goodness. So, thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you all some other time.